Boys, NHL 26 is here, and I'm going to give you my brutally honest review of the game so far. Keep in mind the game's only been out for a week, and these are sort of my first reactions of the game, so my opinions in this video are very subject to change. The game modes are all basically the same as the previous year. They did add some nuance to HUT, but we'll get there in a bit. Franchise mode I didn't really touch, but it doesn't look like they've had many changes. I've heard stuff about them looking to totally revamp it in NHL 27 or even bring back GM Connected, but I feel like we always hear that. If you buy the new game strictly for franchise mode, I'd probably just stay on 25. I give franchise a 4 out of 10. Be a Pro actually has some cool cinematic changes, and it seems like there's a lot more to do with the skill and energy points and X factors, as well as the Macklin Celebrini voice lines, where he sounds very excited to be talking to you. Oh, here's Macklin.
Hey, it's Macklin Celebrini calling. Our agent gave me your number. I know you're excited about the semifinals at the World
W.
Juniors.
Macklin. You can also start in the World Juniors, which I think is sick. R.I.P. Pricey Pond Hockey. I give Be a Pro an 8 out of 10. The last offline mode I wanted to talk about is the Creation Zone. I really hope soon or even next year they start putting a bit more energy into customization. We still got the same arenas, pants styles, and sock styles, which I was absolutely devastated finding out about as a jersey guy. Even if it's only a couple new things, I think it would keep it feeling much more fresh. They did add a couple new logos though. 2 out of 10. Now let's get to online game modes, starting with World of Chel. Despite being mainly a HUT guy, most of my hours so far have been spent on World of Chel. I think the new builds and X factors are kind of cool and gives us a little bit more variety. Although I will say it's absolutely crazy a 6'6" defensive defenseman could have 96 speed and 96 acceleration. I think the X Factor Spark Plug, which can give pressure for hits, truculence, as well as Pressure Plus, which gives extra pressure for shots, is absolutely broken because you can just hit someone and farm full pressure, and that's definitely not fun to play against. It has been fun to buzz around with wheels and elite edges though. If you bought anything from the previous games or earned them in the battle pass, it actually transfers over, which is pretty cool. You can also transfer over your club from the previous game, so you can keep the club name. They changed around the battle pass so everyone can earn anything inside it by playing and not by paying, although you can pay for all the tiers. The new store is pretty sick with some new bundles you can spend coins on, and you won't have to worry about refreshing the store anymore because they have all the equipment you could want that you could buy at any time. So if there's a certain pair of gloves you were looking for, they'll always be here. Same with skates and helmets and sticks and stick tape. Who uses this stick tape though? Come on now. I give World of Chel a 9 out of 10. Now on to Hockey Ultimate Team. Right off the bat, I like the new menu. It isn't just a static picture anymore, and if you hold LT, you can access all the game modes you want to start matchmaking immediately. They definitely tried making it more seamless, which is good. The new team building I think is a lot better. I just wish there was more expendability on what line combos we can do, which they are adding more every season. I like that certain cards can be more rare and expensive now, even if they're a lower overall, if they can fit certain chemistry. Certain lineup combos give you more ability points and higher overall boosts, which I think is cool and rewards team building. I don't think this system is perfect by any means, but it's a good start for EA to build off of. There's a few new game modes inside of HUT, one being Cup Chase, which in my opinion is a better version of squad battles because you can quickly grind out a season and get instant rewards. A season is 18 games, by the way, and you go into a playoff after that. The only problem is the rewards are pretty mid. Ranked I think is awesome and definitely way better than Rivals, but to get Ultimate is definitely a grind. My only gripe with Ranked is I thought EA advertised it as you could play as much as you want, and even if you lose you won't get relegated, which now if you reach Silver or Diamond you won't get relegated. But I thought Ranked would have been more like Rivals, where you could just play as many games as you want and eventually climb up to Ultimate even if you have a negative record. But but that just isn't the case, which could drive a lot of casuals away. I don't know. We'll have to see. I better not be hard stuck diamond, bruh. Apparently Hut Champs is 100 games and about 3 weeks long, which I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll get there when it gets here. Hut, I'm gonna give an 8.7 out of 10. Big up Sidney Crosby. So we talked about the menu part of the game. Now it's time to talk about the gameplay. LTs are still insane, but I actually like it. I think they nerfed them a tiny bit so you can only hold the LT position for a certain amount of time, and it's a little bit slower to like start up, but you can still create space with it and do a bunch of cool stuff with it. The new toe drags are kind of cool, and you can do some cool stuff with them. You can even do the old one from NHL, I think 16, where it's kind of like a pump and you go to the outside. I just think even with a 90 plus deking stat, they're still kind of slow and inconsistent at times. The passing still feels weird in that you can't hit the guy in the middle as easily if you're passing from the boards. I also think the saucer pass is actually broken because when you just tap RB, the puck goes flying and you can't feather it like you used to. Look, I'm just tapping it. Usually that would be a way softer sauce, but that is the speed of the sauce of me just pressing it one time. I haven't noticed reverse hitting as much, which is definitely good in my opinion. I think reverse hitting was way too OP last year. One thing I have noticed is green FNs are still kind of good, especially from the point. Now they aren't good as they were in NHL 25 on release, but they're still pretty good. The last thing with the gameplay, and it might be my biggest gripe on this game, is the goaltenders. The goalies are either prime Carey Price, Igor Shesterkin, and Martin Brodeur put in the same body, or Dallas Stars Tim Thomas. I've had absolute soft floaters from the point go in, and I've also had the most insane split saves you'll ever see, where you're asking yourself, how does he not pull the shit out of his groin making that save? I've also had games where my goalie allows 4 goals on 5 shots, and games where he's allowed 1 goal on 30 shots. I think goalies are the most inconsistent part about this game. There are times on EA SHL when facing human goalies where they should never make that save, like they're on the complete opposite side of the net, and it still just goes in. But with saying that, I'll give the gameplay a 7 out of 10 for now, but that is subject to change. And I think this game is definitely better than NHL 25. So if you guys watch this wanting to see if you want to buy the game, what I would suggest is if you want to try it out, use your free 10 hours with EA Play or Xbox Game Pass and see about buying it then. I'm personally loving this game currently, but I also think it's partly because I hated NHL 25 so much. If you guys enjoyed this and want to see more videos like it, make sure to like and subscribe. I also stream over on twitch.tv/Perellzy if you wanted to catch me playing live. Peace out, boys.